we'll go into the aircraft. This is with Skymatix, which is the virtual airline I belong to, which has a whole community going with it in Discord, for those you know that. And I talk to people from around the world, sort of virtual friends or friends in the cyber, real people in the cyber world. Okay, so we need power on the aircraft. First off, ground services, GPU connect, which is the ground power unit, batteries, ground power unit, emergency lights, we'll dial up these, and window heats. We'll put the air conditioning, and this is the pressurization as well. We get going for the passengers, and the trim for that, get that going, and the yaw. Well, we need to put the yaw damper in a minute. It's not liking it at the moment. That is because we've not set the IRS, which is the GPS positioning, which will tell the aircraft exactly where it is, and we will put that into the flight management computer, as you will see in a minute. Okay, will it like the yaw damper now? It may like it now. If I can get the mouse to work properly, it does. Okay, we need some lights on outside. The logo lights we'll put on, and
flight attendant spare for takeoff, please.
Quick look outside, and we need also start the flight leg. So there we are, and this is Copenhagen Airport. This is what it really is like. All those taxiways, this is obviously at night. I might be tempted to change this. This is real time and real weather. I might be tempted to change this to dusk, which makes it, I think, a bit more interesting. And I think I shall do that now. So a little bit of realism gone, if you like, but for me and for the viewers as well, or anyone watching, this is not for purists, by the way, I have to say. Oh, we didn't want to do that. Discard changes, and we want to just lighten it a bit. So if we go outside now, I'll make it a bit lighter. Okay, so that brings it to life, and the sun will be going down by the time we're prepared, I should think. Okay, back inside the aircraft. I do have some other stuff. We should now go here. And I need to show you this. I'm not going to leave it on the screen because I forget to turn it off. But this is my flight information on it. And this is from the virtual airline. I have the route in here. We have the basic dispatch information and also the operational flight plan, which gives us more information. I'm not going to go into any detail. So this is what we get our information for the flight from, as you can see. Just give us the altitude, it'll give us the route, the waypoints, so on and so forth. But this is just a quick overview. So I'm going to turn this off. So at least you know where I'm getting the information from. And that is here. Okay, so if we get back into the aircraft, you've seen where I get the departure information from. I just need to minimize that. So now I'm going to actually start inputting everything I need into the aircraft itself. Departure there. Okay, so the first thing is fuel. This is the EFB, they call it. And fuel weight balance, payload, fuel, and the fuel figures being given me that we need is 7775, 7 tons, 7.7 tons, 7775, and the payload is 18.6 tons. Now to get the centre of gravity right, adjust that for our approach and landing. We need to adjust the weights forward to aft, which is here. So I'm going to deduct 153, that was 500 from there, which is usually the figure, and put it on this one, 2616. Okay, so that's done. And I just need to keep this in sight, because just bear with me. Okay. Right. Then we come back here, and that's what we want. We want about 21.5% to get the balance right. So we've got pretty full fuel tanks there as well. We usually go back here, leave it on ground power. Now we go to the flight management computer, which is here. And now we have to enter information. I shall stop the vacuum cleaner going, and it'll shut the door. The way this is done is through that switch there. It's still a simulator, but this aircraft is pretty much as ready as you can get within reason.
Flight attendants prepare for departure, cross-check and all calls.
So now we need to let the aircraft know where we are.
All right, we've got everyone strapped in.
Okay, so we go forward. Now that gives us our coordinates. Copy that. And we go back again and place it there. Now we enter our route. In actual fact, I have to actually check into. I'll just make sure we're not. I've just connected to IVA, the ATC people. You can see there's some other aircraft here. That's SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, and that looks like at the moment that's the only one here. Just a quick look at that, just out of interest. There you go, he's just arrived. Back into the aircraft and back to the flight management computer. Okay, so the next thing is we put the route in. And the route goes there. So we use the ICOs, the abbreviation. So Copenhagen is EK Echo Kilo Charlie Hotel, and we're going to Lima Foxtrot Sierra Bravo, and we need a 0, and that's where our file is for that, which is Freiburg, Basel, Freiburg, and we activate that and execute. Now, as you saw earlier, if you're watching, of course, in Avlasoft, which is the software I use, I'll give you a quick look at that again, in case you just joined us. Avlasoft, you'll see we've got the information. It doesn't actually show where I've got the flights from, unfortunately. I don't know why that is, but this is where I get the information for the departures, initial departure information and arrival information for the runways, etc. So let's get rid of that again. I've got a habit of leaving them on there. That's why I don't have them up all the time, not for too long. So now I know now from Avlasoft that our departure and arrival, our departure is air traffic control have told us that it's 22 right, which we have to take. So that now comes up on our display there. That's if I zoom out slightly. Okay, that's the runway. Now the SID is the standard instrument departure, and that has to be entered, and that is usually the first waypoint we come to in the list that you're given, which in this case is Nexon 1 Nexon, it's Nexon 1 Charlie. So we come down here, Nexon 1 Charlie, and we import that and we execute. Now that's given us the correct departure from there, and ATC will give us other information. He will confirm that, hopefully, that that's what we're taking, but that's more than likely. Now we need to do the arrival, and we're going to anticipate this. Well, no, we won't anticipate. I don't think Freiburg. Let's have a look. Freiburg. We're just outside the area at the moment for Freiburg, so we don't have any ATC there, so we don't get told which runway to expect. So I've made a decision already on wind direction, and that will be the wind is at 3:30, I think, so that will be runway 33, and we take the ILS Z. ILS is Instrument Landing System, which means we approach the airport and then we lock on to the glide slope initially, and localizer, which is the actual heading. And then as we get nearer to the airport, we take over and fly the aircraft in manually. Okay, so we're going to select ILS Z, and once again, I know the approach from other information I've got is this one. Sierra Tango Romeo 8 Kilo. Now the transitions, I have to confess, I'm not sure of, but it's given me ALTIC initially, so I'm going to accept that. Now to check that, this might be useful for people that are learning as well. I mean, this is pretty accurate as we go through, but it's a continuous learning curve. I'm going to get rid of the yoke for the minute, it's in the way. So not so easily done in the real aircraft. So now we're going to step through. So as you can see, it's changed the layout here. So I now need to go to the legs, and we'll also check the legs. There you see Nexon. That's where we're going to fly to initially. So now we're going to step through. As we step through, you'll see on the display above, we're stepping through all the waypoints, hopefully, and we have an anomaly there. Let's go previous page. Why? Oh, that may be the, no, that could be the go around. Algiver. I wish life was simple when I'm streaming, but it never is. So we've got some sort of discontinuity there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that transition out and see what happens. So we go back into depart and arrive. And I'm going to remove the transition. Well, I didn't take it. Oh, ALTIC. Yes, I did. I'm going to remove that. Execute. And that doesn't actually change much. That's a peculiar approach. What does this one take us? That's even worse. I have to confess. That's confused me. I should have gone somewhere I know. That would have been the answer. I think it might be a bit mountainous around here. Let me just check here. Yeah, I think we'll take Lumek. That looks like it may be the answer. We'll execute that. But that doesn't help. Take the transition out. This is a bit of a nuisance because I wanted this to go smoothly. I don't often stream. I'm just going to go with this. We'll vector in if we have to, which means we'll just arrange a course in. Depart, arrive. I just said 3-3. Let's just double check that. I just said 3-3. That's correct. No transition. Okay, I think the important thing is we get going for the minute, and we can worry about the approach when we get there. Let's just enlarge that and have a quick. So legs again. Okay, yeah, what we'll do, we'll worry about that when the time comes. That looks a bit strange to me. I wonder if there's an anomaly somewhere in the aircraft routing. There have been lots of updates to this. Well, this isn't the very latest one, but nevertheless. Okay, so I'm not going to mess about with this anymore. We'll just get going. Okay, so we'll go back to that. And I've got to deal with ATC yet, and that's fairly new to me as well. So where do I want to go now? We've got the route in, so now we need to put in some more flight information. We need cruise altitude, which is 360. Oh dear. It looks as though I've lost the stream. If it's running, all well and good, but I'm going to check. Oh, I've got another PC by the side of me. I'm just going to check if this is running. I don't know. Be talking to myself for the next hour. Yeah. Switch count. Well, it doesn't look like it is. Right, we're back. I'm not sure if I lost the stream or not, which is really annoying because I'm just getting used to this. Oh, I need to change something here. Oh, no, I don't. Not really. Right, I've made it public. I'll take a risk. Okay. Oh well, here we go again. It looks like I lost a stream for a while. I don't know why. But there you go. Okay, that's streaming now. I've got to cross check here. Where was I now? Right, okay, now the fuel, this enters automatically from here because we've loaded the fuel. I just use a reserves of 1. Under normal circumstances, you'll put the correct amount in, which you find in the data that I've already shown you, if you saw the stream. We'll put the cruise wind in, which is 01457. 01457. And the ISO, which is 5. And we execute that. There we go. Yeah, this is the takeoff thrust here. There might be, we might have to derate for noise requirements, but I'm not going to for the minute. I'm just going to go in on the 26k, which is sort of full power really, for takeoff. And then we go to takeoff. And the takeoff wind is 307 knots. So it's 300 at 7 knots. I'll go back a page. Flaps 5, we're going to use flaps 5. And the centre of gravity, which we said earlier, is there, and these are the V speeds for the takeoff speeds. And we have to set our trim. This balances the aircraft for takeoff with the elevator on the tailplane. So it's nose up, so bringing the nose up because of the way the weight's distributed on the aircraft. I think I'll see if I can get clearance from air traffic control now, which is the nervy bit for me. So we are at stand C37, and oh, do we still have air traffic control? Let's and no, we've lost them. This is one of the problems with ATC. So now we're flying without air traffic control, so I don't have to ask for clearance. We can just proceed and start the flight, which will save some time. Okay, so where was I now? Yeah, I was coming up to here. So everything's in the flight management computer we need now. We'll dial the lights up on the panel. The other information we need to put in is our takeoff speed, which is 1 out of 5 at 1. Our runway heading I will put in case we need to hold that, if we had ATC of course, 217. So you can see here it's adjusting that. 21567 runway heading. We need the barometric pressure, QNH in flying terms. This is 1032. Now this affects the altitude, the air pressure. So it's 1023. Okay, I mean, I'm not an expert at this, but hopefully anyone that is flying the Zibo learning it will pick up bits and pieces, but of course you will have to ideally join a Zibo pilots group. Very helpful people, wealth of information there, everyone's willing to help, a good company, and there is the Skymatix virtual airline which goes along with it, which was set up by and the Discord Zibo pilots group by a guy called Nico Brin. And we've got everything in the FMC. So now this is for the vertical control by the autopilot, and this is for lateral. I need to check, I'm talking all the time, so I just need to keep checking. I think it was 360 we had. Oops, for that. So we'll go back to 360, that's our chat set. So that's effectively the automation. I'm a bit husky, so I need a bit of a drink, which I'm going to take now without making any noise, hopefully. And of course, being a pilot, even though it's virtual, it's just water, of course. I've already had the red wine with the dinner. And it's my birthday. So there you go. Okay, now I think that's everything. You just check the overhead. No, we need to, that's coincidentally, that's set okay already. And this needs to be set for the pressurization of the cabin. As you ascend, obviously the air pressure changes, so this sorts that out. The next thing is we need to start the auxiliary power unit on the aircraft, because we're going to disconnect the ground power unit in a minute. That's this switch here. We get the light, and then downwards, hold and let go, and you'll see the pressure building. At this point I would normally turn on the fuel, which in the learning phases I often used to forget, which is a bit embarrassing when you push back and your engine's cut out. It won't start with these packs on and the auto bleed we need on, so we build the pressure here. So for those of you who might be watching, and you know, it's a sort of a game, but it's actually a simulation. It's like a parallel world. This aircraft is continuously developed by a few dedicated people in our group and by Zibo himself, and it's just unbelievable what they've done with this aircraft. Okay, the APU is fired up now, so we can do that, and now we disconnect the ground power unit there. So now we can call our pushback. I just need to double check which way I have to push. Once again, I'm going to use Avasoft. I'll show you this while we're here. And Avasoft. And I need to push back, tail to the right. Okay. This is done from here. This is actually this is better pushback for anyone that might be watching. That once again is slightly newer to this, that may want this information. It's a free download, better pushback, and it allows you to pre-plan your pushback, which from a previous flight I did is in the right place anyway. So we're gonna
round a cockpit, plan
that.
acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Now we're going to call our guy, so we're going to request a pushback. So he's going to come, so I'll do that here.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Skyman's coming. This is great because this thing is wonderful because it can drive straight through buildings without causing damage. Here he comes. You can see we have the airway connected. As we start pushback, that will automatically disconnect. Start the engines. Okay, back in the aircraft now. There you go, there's our man. Let's have a look, see if we have anything else here. Under normal circumstances, other aircraft around. Well, there's one.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
Oh, yeah, there is another window which is for air traffic control, which you would normally put the comments in if air traffic control isn't actually active at the airport you're at, if the controller isn't there. There's Copenhagen with the sun going down, and view, and there is the bridge to Sweden. That's there's the bridge. Okay, back in the aircraft. Everything's set. Oh, I will announce I'm going to push back.
So connected and bypass pin inserted.
Out of courtesy. So I'll just type in. I'm typing in EKCHT TFC, which is traffic, B738. Push and start, and I'm on stand at C37. C37. So now I'll put that in, which you can't see, and that's announced in that window. So any other aircraft around can see it. Well, you can. There's one quite a long way away. It doesn't really affect him, but nevertheless, yeah, it's just a matter of courtesy, I suppose. And it will be the same for the taxi, but for the sake of speed, I'm not going to do it. Speed and boredom. Right, so we're going to start a push brake. He's given us, told us we can't start, so we need to take the handbrake off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
And you can see, there goes the airway. So get back in the aircraft and start engine 2. Just check that it's starting, which is there. So we wait for that to get to 25, and then we open up the fuel line. That's what I think it is anyway. All this stuff works. Everything here works. For anyone that's not really into flight sim, might be dropping in or tempted enough to watch what's happening. And this comes into play a bit later when we start setting up our approach. Air traffic control's gone. We would have used these. Let's put that's up to 25 now. Let's put the fuel in. Oops, I'll keep it there. That's better. So we would have put our air traffic control frequency in there, then transferred it over to this one. But then that would be up to active. We could have spoken to air traffic control, and that is real people. And once again, if anybody's watching this, that is not really into flight sims. You know, they are real people around the world, all around the world that do this, you know, as a hobby. And here we are, we're pushing back. There you go. So now what we need to start engine 1, that's up and running now. So engine 1 now starts. We'll put the taxi lights on now. Once again, we wait for 25. We get that one running, and it was a full moon last night, so it's on the wane. There you go.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, so set the parking brake. You know, there's some work to do.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Yeah, the engines are going. This turns off the auxiliary power unit on the aircraft. We now have to reactivate the air conditioning and the pressurization. The auto bleed goes off. We need the probe heaters. And let me check just to make sure that's on, Everything's running. We can disconnect him, let him go. Everything's running. So the next thing is the taxi, and I will put it in. It's EKCH. I'm getting tangled up here. Start.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
Runway 22. 22 right. So once again, I'll put EKH traffic, start taxi from C37 for runway 22 right. I'm going to put the right in. I'm trying to be as quick as I can here. Okay, so I'm sending that. I've not put the taxiways in, but let me see where I'm going. Okay. So straight ahead, cross runway 30. Straight ahead and then off to the right. Okay, so let's start our taxi. At last. Let's put a little bit of light on the panel. Go for a minute. And there we go. Another nightmare is on arrival, following taxi instructions at big airports. It's not always easy. But there's software around to make it a bit easier. I shall put the flaps in now as well. So that's 5 flaps. Let's get back inside, a bit easier. You can see the flaps now. I'd see how we should put headlights on. There's no one else coming in, so we just put the headlights in, crossing the runway. Headlights, the runway lights. They're still headlights, whichever way you look at them.
Approaching 1, 2.
And now just taxiing. This is a continuous. These go on for takeoff. So these go on for takeoff, which continuously reignites the engine. Let's see where we're going. That's what's happening with the co-pilot, really. So as you take off, if the engine flames out, this problem it continues to reignite the engines to keep them running, hopefully. And the cat is meowing in here, pestering me. And I'm going to leave him alone. He doesn't give up. He's off. Okay, real life goes on in this cyber world. So let's have a quick stop here. We turn right here, runway 22 over there. Stop here. A few more bits to do before we get going. Not too much, I'm pleased to know. So, lights on. That's already running. This is the TCAS, not TCAS, weather radar, and this is terrain radar at this end. They don't go on at the stand because they're worried people might fry from the beams. And the other thing we do is we set the transponder, which I managed to remember. If air traffic control is on, they will give you a squawk code, which is entered in here. So you would enter that number in here, and that is a number which they identify the aircraft by. It's an individual number for each aircraft. But we still need to turn that on. If air traffic control come on while we're in the air, they will contact us, and we'll need to report our position and altitude, and then they will decide what they want to do with us. Let's put the progress on. Let's get back to that. I'm talking, so there's always a danger I'm forgetting things, but on this occasion it looks all right. So now we're going to taxi. I'm not going to put in the line. Let's just check there's nothing else around. No, there's no other aircraft coming in, so I'm just going to taxi onto the runway and we'll depart. Oh, there's one more thing that I meant to do. That's put these on and that again every time I do the brake. For some reason that thing goes off.
2 right.
The collision beacon. So we're on a runway.
On runway 2 right.
Okay, so everything is set. Everything is set. Now, take off and go around. That's a function that's automated. So we're just going to use the takeoff part of it for this. I'll come down here a bit. Let's come across in the centre more. So what I do, I get the M1, the revs, for want of a better word. Oh, there'll be some people cringing out there, but never mind. Especially as there's nobody watching at the moment. So, oh, he's passed through me. I didn't see him. Where did he come from? I didn't see him anywhere. I can't see him here. Okay, not to worry, he's gone.
On runway
no real collisions
2
here.
right. On runway 2 right.
Oh, not to worry, he's gone. Oh, I think I'll put your message in now. I don't need to apologise, I was there first. Okay, he's gone, he's just gone through me, he didn't care particularly. He knew I was in front of him, he could see me. So that was up to him. Yes. No. Now, yeah, I was going to take off, wasn't I? So I'm going to take off now, so I'm now going to 4, yeah, that's what I was telling you. So this goes to 4. Yeah. Let it stabilise. Then I'm going to press the button which activates, and you'll see it will take the brake off. And there you go. And you'll see the flight display is now active. I'll just steer with the left.
80 knots. V1, rotate. Positive rate.
Gear.
400.
Then we're flying at departure that I explained earlier, and again next lot of flaps up.
1,000.
You see 1,000 feet. Autopilot. Just takes a bit of pressure off for a minute. There's only one of me. Well, I set flaps up a little bit early. No damage, no set. Okay. Once again, any purists? So I think I've got to put the seatbelts on the passengers as well. So I'll do it now while we're taking off. There you go. And of course, no smoking all the time. Over 1,000, we can turn continuous off. We can. This is park there, so we don't lose any fluid, and flaps up. RTO off. So that should be everything set. There's that moon again. Goodbye Copenhagen. Now I'm not going to stream the whole flight. We're climbing now. We're in cruise. I might come back and stream the approach landing. Then if I want to, if I'm happy with it, I can tie it together in a video, edit it down to those two parts, which might make it more interesting. You know, hopefully, you know, I'm still learning, but hopefully this can help people that are starting out. And now we've got to set this to standard. I'm not sure actually. Yeah, I did set the QNH. Set this to standard. We do that here. And this resets this. There are some other. You would enter this in the approach for the barometric pressure at the arrival airport once again, because it affects the altitude as the needle goes around the barometer. So it's the same with the altitude, it changes. So when I look outside, wow, concentric rings are horrible. It's just one of those things, you never know, you might get rid of them. They're looking at bringing out next plane 12. You know, a lot of people are talking about flight to simulate 2020, the Microsoft one. Well, it's good, but it's not as good as this in quite a few ways. I mean, the flight dynamics it would be arguable. Many pilots use X-plane, and this B737. There are real pilots in our group that fly these aircraft, and they prefer this, and particularly the Zibo mod, because the Zibo mod is very accurate, and these pilots are actually flying the aircraft, feeding back where bits need changing, and those changes are then adjusted on this aircraft. So it's a continuous improvement, and this has been going on, well, it must be 8 months to 2 years now, so you can imagine how much this aircraft has changed. And fuse panel, which don't work. They may do one day, you know. This is the trim here. Autopilot's on, so it's continuously altering the aileron at the back on the tailplane. Slightly up and down motions to stabilise the aircraft and keep it on track. I'm talking, so I need to check that I've done everything. We are at, I can turn these lights off now, we're above 10,000, we're at 10,000. So those lights can go off. And let's have a look at the outside now. And there you go. I usually show that around. We don't show those. Pretend they're not there. You can see the airport in the background. And we're on our way to Freiburg in Germany. Which is a charming place. I think I'm going to stop the stream now. There's not much else to show really. I'll come back near a descent, possibly. In the breathing space, just check. We will be going into some more air traffic control. well, I might hang on until we're in there. It's not too far away. If you want to stay with it, I can tell you, it's it's only 50 miles, and of course, at our speed, it's EDW. So I'll show you this while I'm here. That's, so their frequency, the next SRO control, which is Langham information. They may not contact us, but the frequency is 125,100. So this will go here. There is a shortcut actually on the window where it can be done. 125,100, and if they contact us, we'll flick that over into this window, the active window. So I'll keep the stream going for a minute. Well, let's go to the next page. Begin room. It's only a couple of minutes and we'll be there. 2 minutes. That's amazing. There you go. Thanks. That's what it gave me. This is Zulu time, which is UTC. So in the UK we're an hour ahead of this. So it's a bit later here. For a minute, I'll come back in a sec. Okay. Let's have a check. This is flight information only. So it's not control, so there won't be any air traffic control cover, I wouldn't think. So at this point, I think I'll end the stream. And there's not been anybody watching, so I didn't do bad really. Yep, I'm going to end the stream now. Nobody wants to sit here for an hour with not much happening. So, and then I can edit it back together if I fancy later on. Because I'm quite pleased with the way this one's gone. I'm getting used to it a bit. But when I listen to it back, I know for sure. So